Hello, welcome to Network. My name is Pumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. You can find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It is his network at sabc.co.za on email. The owner of Twitter, the new owner that is Elon Musk, has said that he will be allowing longer format videos up to 2 hours long for paying users of the platform. This week our Twitter poll is asking you if you would ever watch 2-hour-long videos on Twitter. This is a platform that was originally meant for just words. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what we have for you. We've got details on how technology, especially artificial intelligence, can help advance the cause of Africa, as it is Africa Day in a couple of days. There's information on an initiative for women in technology, and our conversation is on Africa Communications Week. We've been talking about the fourth industrial revolution for a while now, but what's being exposed in South Africa is the digital divide, and it's also revealed that there is a gender gap here in South Africa. But there are programs that are trying to close this gender gap, and producer Sandile Hlangani tells us about just one of them.
South Africa's IT industry is one of the fastest growing sectors in the country. It is becoming increasingly important to the economy. Despite this phenomenal growth, women say they are still underrepresented, underpaid, and often discriminated against in the industry.
When you come as a woman, no one is too sure what you are coming with. They're also not too sure if you are actually capable. So we have to work twice as hard. I've had to work twice as hard. I've had to knock on doors, and first prove myself before I can be given an opportunity. Whereas, in most cases with our male counterparts, things would be happening, immediately. But I'm grateful now that, as a business, we have grown from that, through partners that have worked with us to give us, those access to opportunities.
The challenges we face are, building skills, skilling up people is expensive, as well as not having access to market. I think for corporates, we would like more corporates to believe in us as small businesses, that we are capable, we have the capacity to deliver and work with us to help our businesses grow.
Others point to the lack of girls taking science, technology subjects to the advanced level.
In previous years, we were talking about the lack of women as, in the technical side, so women engineers, women software developers, and that was really important conversations. And as we kind of migrate and women's role in the workplace migrates, we start to see women migrate out of the workforce and into entrepreneurship, right? And now we're going, actually there's a lack of women all along this value chain, right? So there's a lack of girls coming in, there's a lack of women in this space, there's a lack of women entrepreneurs. And so in 2023, we're now talking about the lack of women entrepreneurs because there's this pipeline that is slow to come in, right? The numbers haven't really shifted beyond 20%, right? And so there's some of it is push factors and some of it is pull factors, right? And so still the industry is not as welcoming. It's there's some harsh realities around getting more women and keeping women in the industry.
Standard Chartered Bank says they are launching Women Tech program to support female-led startup companies with business management training, monitoring, and seed funding.
Well, the program is a Women in Technology. It's called Women in Technology, and it's been launched in different markets across the world where Standard Chartered Group has a footprint. So this is the turn of South Africa.
Nadia Munaji, founder of Warm Hub, believes that public-private partnerships can form the cornerstone of a successful move in closing the gap.
So Warm Hub really supports companies in being able to help to craft really innovative incubators to support women entrepreneurs. That sounds like a lot of jargon. Let me tell you what it is we're going to be selecting 15 female entrepreneurs who are in the STEM industry, science, technology, engineering, mining and manufacturing. We are going to take them on a journey with us to be able to support their businesses in leveraging technology to grow their businesses. So we will come with technical support, we'll come with financial coaching, we'll come with a whole lot of business development and support services to help them develop their business.
The tech program will see 15 applicants participate in a 12-week incubation program.
We're working with a partner, WomHub, to identify and mentor women-led businesses through the powerful platform of technology and technology enablement to scale up their businesses, to grow, create economic empowerment. Ultimately, that leads to economic and financial inclusion and give people livelihoods and participation in the broader South African economy.
Applications for this incubator program are now open.
It will be Africa Day in just a couple of days, and a huge part of the discussion that always happens is how tech can advance the African continent, and artificial intelligence is just one of those ways. Producer Lebo Mokomela recently went to a space where they were discussing artificial intelligence, especially what it means for South Africa and the rest of the African continent.
ICT executives across industries met at the CIO Summit hosted by the International Data Corporation. This was an effort to discuss a way forward for the growth of South Africa's digital economy. Here, matters such as leveraging technology and digital innovations to drive economic growth, create jobs, and improve overall productivity were discussed.
So we're undergoing a pretty significant transformation under a great deal of pressure. There's a lot of stress in the economy right now. The pressure on business leaders to keep innovating, keep moving their businesses forwards is balanced with just that need to survive and find transformational strategies. So we're really on this knife edge, and navigating it is really challenging. So we're looking to bring together global best practices, the guidance that we provide to technology buyers, and how that works out in the most effective strategies for the short term that still build towards long-term strategies.
Players in the tech field were also there to showcase their solution-based technologies that show that the country indeed has a thriving digital growth.
Riverbed is focused on delivering insight and performance. So all enterprises today are in the digital space. They need to offer services to customers. They want to ensure that services are delivered optimally, and the only way to do that in today's world and the digitally diverse world where it's very complex, costs are rising and whatnot, is to be able to measure everything from an end user perspective to networking to application, the entire IT stack.
We are the largest content and platform provider from a software perspective. We also provide cybersecurity solutions, AI, digital experience, and machine learning technologies.
For a digital economy to run seamlessly, the country's cybersecurity must be watertight. This, however, has not been the case, as many state and private entities have been hacked over the years. One such example is news of a cyber attack that disrupted container operations at the South African port of Cape Town. That was reported by Reuters in July 2021.
We need to focus on being more secure. Better security practices, better security awareness, greater responsibility by people who are aware that there are issues and are not reporting it effectively. Needs to be matched by aggressive investment in technologies, in practices, in legislation to support it. And again, we're making progress, but we've got to remember that the bad guys are making progress too. They have new tools available all the time. They have new techniques. And right now, we are on the back foot in a lot of this. And South Africa is not unique. This is very much a global phenomenon. We're seeing a whole wave of new threats coming through, and that is a worry.
South Africa has made significant strides in expanding its ICT infrastructure, including improving broadband access and mobile connectivity in order to include its citizens in the ever-growing digital economy. However, there are still challenges in terms of coverage and affordability, particularly in rural and underserved areas.
Yeah, so the digital divide is a genuine thing, and it affects a lot of areas of the economy, whether that's folks who have access to technology to empower their work versus those who don't, right the way down to education and kids. Having access to digital services and technology is a competitive advantage, there's no question about it. So very important that we make sure that all parts of society have access to it, that everyone is empowered by it. Otherwise, you'll end up with this two-tier economy where the digital haves start to outpace the digital have-nots. And I think that creates greater inequalities at a time when we need it least.
The IDC CIO Summit took place on Thursday at the Sandton Convention Centre in Johannesburg.
Many parts of South Africa have been experiencing water shortages, and many reasons have been given for this. But there are solutions that some South Africans are offering in order to assist in this regard.
South Africa is a water-scarce country, and Kusini Water hopes to be the solution. Kusini Water is a social enterprise that builds water treatment systems from nanotechnology and locally sourced macadamia nut shells. Kusini Water's mission is to bring clean and safe drinking water to communities around South Africa.
The inlet water comes in there through this pump into the first filter. That first filter is a particulate filter that removes any physical debris that could be in the water. And that filter, so it removes particulate, sediment, anything that is big that is in the water itself. The first filter is the activated carbon filter. It's not connected, it still needs to be connected because it broke up there. Again, that removes the organics from the water. That's the stuff that causes the water to smell or taste bad. Secondly, we've got a multimedia filter. The multimedia filter adjusts the taste in the water. So if sometimes maybe whatever happens in the first or second stage, that gets adjusted in the third filter. And then you've got two membranes. These two membranes, each individual membrane does about 5,000 liters per hour. So combined, they do 10,000 liters per hour. And they remove viruses, bacteria, E. coli, those kind of things from the water. And then once that goes through the membrane stage, it comes all the way out to the sterilization. So this is the ultraviolet sterilization or UV sterilization. And the sterilization is just the final stage before the water again goes into distribution.
Kusini Water was founded in 2016. They have 7 new kiosks and currently supply safe, clean water to communities such as Hammanskraal, Lusikisiki and Pietermaritzburg.
The costs are quite minimal. Every 8 months they need to change the incoming filter, and that's roughly about 1,200 to do that. Every 5 years they need to change the membrane. It's about 8,000 rands to do that. That needs to come from the kiosks.
Kusini Water has skills development programs designed to give technical training to young people, primarily unemployed women, to gain water technical skills and NQF accreditation in the basics of water technology and treatment. Dakalo Nenguza is one of the program's benefactors.
When I joined the Kusini bootcamp, it offered a structural background into how to structure my business, how to put in all these incentive tools into use, and how to put myself out there and help the community at large, factor in all the social ills and all the social problems which are gaining access to fresh water.
Takalo has been able to resolve water challenges in and around his village, Shayandima in Limpopo, and now employs 3 people full-time and 6 people on contract. Takalo is looking to give back to his community by skilling and empowering more young people, especially women.
Throughout this process, I've helped employed or part-time employed over 8 to 10 people which benefited their households quite gratefully. And then this is another way that I gave back, or the company gave back into the communities, not only through the water that we drilled and they got, but through employment as well.
Kusini Water CEO Morendeni Mafumo says their goal is to improve economic participation by training more water champions to run and own water kiosk businesses around the country. Mafumo says they are making strides in reaching their mission of serving 5 million people in rural communities with sustainable access to safe water by 2025.
SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za. On email. After the break, we chat about Africa Comes Week. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram News Network at sabc.co.za. On email, welcome back. Now, it's Africa Comms Week in a couple of days, and much of the communication that takes place about Africa and on the African continent is happening online, and that's changed the way Africa is perceived, and that's all over the world, really. To talk to us more about how communication has changed and has been changed by technology is Tshepo Chabalala. He is a Journalism AI's project manager at Polis in the Media and Communication School at the London School of Economics. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us, Tshepo. Tshepo, maybe if you can start by telling us how you think that technology has influenced and changed communications.
One of the most recent advancements of technology in recent times is generative AI. We've seen how it has been made or has become more user-friendly than before. And over time, we've also seen that it has its negatives and positive aspects. And one of those negatives is the advancements of fake news and misinformation, how people can use it to advance or to spread misinformation. But there are positives to platforms, generative AI platforms, such as image generation for content that we cannot find images for, or creating video using text. So that is positive for news organizations, especially, for example, when you are putting together documentaries about war, for example, and you are unable to find footage for that. You are able to use these large language models to produce these videos or images. And that's probably one of the positives. But we have seen that news organizations can implement generative AI in various forms in the news production cycle. And we as media practitioners need to figure out or learn how to implement those platforms within our newsrooms and use them responsibly.
Tshepo, would you say that journalists have managed to adequately use technology in the work that they do?
Absolutely. We have seen the number of diversified stories, the number of different content creators telling us different narratives that we've never heard before. And that is the beauty of technology, in that we're learning from each other and we're learning about or getting information that we never had before. But with that comes bias. And we need to be aware as communicators, as journalists, to be able to sift fact from fiction. And that is the key in today's technology, fast-moving technology.
We live in the world of AI, ChatGPT, and other tools like it. Do you think artificial intelligence is a threat or a help to the way people communicate?
AI is not necessarily a threat. We need to understand how these tools are used and who is using them. Only then will we know the positives and negatives of the information that we are getting out of these platforms.
And generally, the advancement of technology, how is it aiding the way you communicate, especially about the African continent?
Journalists have adapted to the changing technology. You see it, for example, with using and adapting how WhatsApp was initially used for communication. Now it's used to send stories from the field. You have Twitter, where they promote stories from the field as well. And Facebook, they use that for distribution. So they've really used social platforms to adapt to reach the audiences in various ways that we could not have imagined 10 or 20 years from now.
All right, Tshepo Chabalala, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Tshepo Chabalala, there is project manager at Journalism AI at Polis. And now this is at the Media and Communication School at the London School of Economics, which is part of the University of London in the United Kingdom. And with that, let's take a short break.
Get in touch with SABC News. Call us if you have any news leads, stories, tip-offs, or simply issues you are grappling with as a community. Call us on 011-714-6133. Alternatively, email us at news@sabc.co.za. SABC News, your voice, independent and impartial.
This is where it all begins. The program that breaks the news of the day and reflects on what South Africans talk about.
Morning Live is rich in content and is driven by dynamic reflections and analysis.
And that is your heavy rains and very cold afternoon temperatures.
This is where facts and the truth always win the day.
We get the newsmakers and ask the uncomfortable questions.
And revive the defense of their title.
Morning Live goes beyond unveiling raw data to generate debate, setting public discourse agenda.
When did it become your business?
Who do you think you're talking to?
I'm asking a question. Wow, that's Mr. Paul O'Sullivan there.
We at the SABC bring you news that is independent,
impartial.
SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Let's take a look at some of those stories that have been making headlines in the international tech world.
Scientists in Switzerland have developed an electrode to monitor the brain. The device is fitted through a small hole in the skull before it's fanned out to cover a large area of the cortex. The research published in Science Robotics is expected to provide minimally invasive solutions for epilepsy patients.
So we have developed soft electrode array designed to record information from the surface of the brain, and these electrodes are so soft that they can be inserted just between the surface of the brain and the skull, and this could find application for recording of epilepsy seizures.
The electrode monitors brain activity in a safer and less invasive way. The device will be able to record seizures, and the data collected from the device will in turn be used to inform treatment. In the United States, Google unveiled a new foldable Pixel smartphone and tablet. The smartphone also lets consumers use the company's artificial intelligence, such as Gmail, which can create draft messages, and Google Photos, which can make changes to images like centering figures and coloring in empty spaces.
We're completely upgrading everything you love about our A series with the gorgeous new Pixel 7a. Like all Pixel 7 series devices, Pixel 7a is powered by our flagship Google Tensor G2 chip, and it's paired with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which ensures Pixel 7a delivers best-in-class performance and intelligence. And you're gonna love the camera. The 7a takes the crown from 6a as the highest rated camera in its class, with the biggest upgrade ever to our A-series camera hardware, including a 72% bigger main camera sensor.
The phone will be priced at $1,799 and it comes with a free Pixel watch. Google also unveiled a $499 phone that it calls the Pixel 7a, available on order. Staying in the US, the CEO of OpenAI, the startup company behind ChatGPT, told a Senate panel that he is concerned about artificial intelligence being used to compromise elections, adding that it needs regulation.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think that could happen in a lot of different ways. It's why we started the company. It's a big part of why I'm here today and why we've been here in the past and we've been able to spend some time with you. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong, and we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening, but we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to do to mitigate that.
For months, companies large and small have raced to bring increasingly versatile AI to market, throwing endless data and billions of US dollars at the challenge. Some critics fear the technology will exacerbate societal harms, among them prejudice and misinformation, while others warn AI could end humanity itself.
Twitter has said that they are introducing long format videos. They're going for up to 2 hours, but that's for people who are paying users of the platform. But our Twitter poll this week is asking you whether this is something that you would like to watch on Twitter. Would you watch videos that go for up to 2 hours long on the platform? Alright, and that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. No, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za. On email from me, Ms. Pumela Lezondi, and the rest of the team. Thank you very much for being a part of our network. Bye-bye.